Oh, so tomorrow's like this really cool astrological event
Yeah.
and nothing like it. I mean, they're the planets Jupiter and Saturn have converged lots of times within the last 800 years, but it never really happens like it does right now, but every 800 years. So like the whole chart or something like that is special. If you think about like astrology charts. And um I don't know, I've noticed that like almost every holiday this year or significant day um has aligned with some sort of crazy astrological event. And I'm like, this is crazy. We had all those retrogrades and stuff like that, if you believe in astrology. And for me, I really look at it as like patterns, and I really like patterns, and I like being able to see patterns and things. And so, um, yeah, it just makes me think about how, um, I don't know. It's just really, it gets me awestruck sometimes that like similar types of events will happen every so many hundred years and things like that. And but anyways, the gist of this is that tomorrow is said to be the beginning of a new 200-year karmic cycle.
Mhm.
And I was like, that's cool. I like that. We need some of that right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it'll be okay. There will always be tough, difficult terrain ahead, but at the same time, for me, I want to look ahead and be open hearted and open minded with the way things kind of pan out and just kind of keep my head level and lead with my heart. And so we're doing backbends today.
Oh boy.
Yay! So, yeah, if you're not already on mute, go ahead and mute yourselves. And we're going to get started. Feel free to close your eyes or gaze at a point out in front of you and connect to your breath. As we begin every practice, notice how you're thinking, how you're feeling on a physical, mental, emotional, maybe even spiritual level. And whatever it is that you're feeling or experiencing in this moment, recognizing it as sacred in some way, and recognizing your feelings and thoughts about it as sacred as well and valid. Feel free to join your palms in front of your heart, connect your thumbs to your sternum, root down through your sitting bones and lengthen through the top of your head. Draw your shoulders back and slightly lift your chin up into your hands, your chest into your hands. We'll begin with one Om. Feel free to sing along or listen. Take a full breath in. Exhale completely. Inhale again. Bow your head into your heart, lifting your heart up toward your head. Release your hands. Gently lift your head and open your eyes. Please begin with your 2 or 1 blocks, 1 or 2. And if you have 1 block, what we're doing is the block back bend. So I'm pretty sure we've all seen this already. I think I've taught it before. But if you have 1 block, place the block like so at the or at the front fourth of your mat. And if you have 2 blocks, you're going to set them up so you have this little maybe 1 inch gap for your spine. So you set them up side to side, and your shoulder blades are going to rest on the blocks as we back bend over it. So if you don't have blocks, what you can do instead is basically Vajrasana, hands bound, shoulders back, arms extended variation, and maybe even add in the back bend here. So that's an option if you don't have the blocks. So once your blocks are set up, I've got Durgee's spray bottle in the frame. Once your blocks are set up, you're going to take the bottom tips of your shoulder blades level to the bottom corner of the block and just lay your upper back on the blocks. And then take your hands behind your head, shrug your shoulders back, and then shoulder blades toward each other and lift up through your chest. Press your tailbone like you're pushing it toward the back of your mat, the opposite of your head. And move your shoulders back, lift up through your chest, and start to curl slowly back, doing an upper back bend. Then pull your elbows in toward your face and go a little bit more. So you're reaching armpit to elbow toward the floor and toward the wall behind you. And keep that. You can keep your knees bent, or if you like, you can straighten your legs and hold here. We're just doing hands bound. If you want to extend your arms back behind you, feel free to do so. It can be nice and deep. Otherwise, just stay here. Take slow, deep, even breaths. Just a nice, gentle way to open up the chest and the upper back. And slowly lift your head back up with your hands. Place your hands next to your hips. Push your hands down to lift your torso up and sit up. Take your blocks off to the side somewhere out of the way. And come into Vajrasana with your toes curled under at the back of your mat. Squeeze your knees and ankles in and slide your knees back toward your toes. Then take your hands, interlace your fingers, and instead of taking them to the top of your head today, you're gonna push your palms forward, taking your shoulder blades off your back and trying to hollow out your abdomen. Move your ribs back, tailbone forward. Then in one movement, press tailbone forward, kind of curve into your lower back a little bit as you lift your arms up. Move your shoulder blades onto your back, pull your fingers apart from each other. Then do stitch your ribs together, meaning pull your rib cage in toward each other and toward your spine. And one movement, heart chakra pose, you can watch first. If you're not sure, it's hands to the front of your mat, chest between your hands, hips off the floor, chin to the floor. Breathe here for a couple of breaths. Push your knees down and toward your chest, chest down and toward your hips. Hands just using them as a little bit of a support to push down into the floor, taking some pressure off of your chest. Keeping your hands where they are, slide yourself forward, push your hips on the floor, tailbone down, move your shoulder blades on your back, squeeze your elbows toward your torso. And from here, push hands down and back and peel your torso off the floor, slowly curling into your upper back. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy right now because it's the very beginning of class. Just go up to a comfortable back bend here for Cobra. Keep moving your inner shoulder toward your outer shoulder and broaden across your collarbones. Push back up to all fours, hands and knees. Bring your knees and ankles together, toes curled under, sit on your heels. So we're doing that 2 more times. Interlace your fingers out in front of you, push your palms forward. Reach your arms up. We're gonna go a little bit faster this time. Ribs back, tailbone forward, stretch tall. Then on an exhale, come down into Anahatasana, heart chakra, chest between your hands, chin to the floor. And on an inhale, cobra pose, tailbone forward, shoulders back, curl back. Exhale, all fours to Vajrasana. Bring knees and ankles together. Interlace your fingers. On the next inhale, push your palms forward, reach up. Exhale forward on Hatasana. Heart first, chin last. Inhale, Cobra. Shoulders back, lift your chest, lift your chin. Then on an exhale, child's pose. Knees wide, big toes together. Forehead, tip of nose to the floor. Take a moment here and just breathe. Downward facing dog. Hands at the front of your mat, index fingers point straight ahead. Grip the floor with all 10 fingertips, inner edges of your hands down. Reach your knees up. Feel free to do knees bent or legs straight, your choice. Reach your heels slowly toward the floor. Push hands down and forward. Lift your arm bones up. Press feet down and back. Press your thighs toward the wall behind you. Feel free to shake your head a little bit if you need to loosen up your neck, or just gaze straight down or toward your navel. Look forward between your hands. Step your right foot between your hands. Make sure your right ankle and knee are in the same line. Back heel vertical above your toe mounts. Place hands on hips, lift your torso. Stand up. Press your tailbone forward. Interlace your fingers behind your head. Then pull your elbows forward. Press your tailbone forward, shoulders back, just like you did on the block. Plug your arm bones into the socket. Then lift through your chest. Push your head back and throw your head back. Look toward the ceiling. Then stretch up through your elbows. Stay here, or keeping everything else the same, stretch your arms straight up, palms together. Then lower your hands back to the floor. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward between your hands. Back heel vertical. Hands to hips, lift your torso up. Press your tailbone forward, shoulders back. Reach your arms behind your head. Interlace fingers, go for non-dominant clasp. Pull your elbows toward your face. Shrug your shoulders back, lift up through your chest. Keep pressing tailbone forward, lift up through your chest and curl back. Extend up to the ceiling through your elbows. Stay here or stretch your arms straight up, palms together. Down dog, push back. Step your right foot forward between your hands. Lower your back heel to the floor this time so your heels are in the same line, left toes pointing sharply forward and to the left. Place your hands on your hips, move right hip back, left hip forward here. Keep that and stand up on your legs. Stay here, reach your arms straight up over your head for regular Virabhadrasana 1. Maybe join your palms. Now from here, do the same thing you did with your hands behind your head, but with your arms up this time. Press tailbone forward, shoulders back, plug your arm bones back, pull your throat back, and maybe look up between your hands. We're coming down into half moon from here. Take your hands to the floor. Walk your right hand forward and to the right of your right foot. Step into your right leg, lift your left leg parallel to the floor. Maybe keep right knee bent or straighten it as you open your left hip on top of your right hip and extend your left arm toward the ceiling. Great. Push longer through your legs, longer through your arms. Step way back, come back to down dog. Step your left foot forward between your hands. Spin your back heel to the floor, line up your heels. Turn your right toe sharply forward and to the right. Hands to hips, move left hip back, right hip forward, and stand up. Move your ribs back, tone your abdomen, lift up through your chest. Stay here or lift your arms straight up, hands either together or palms separated. Keep that. Press tailbone forward, ribs back, shoulders back. Plug your arm bones back as if you had those blocks behind your back. Throw your head back and maybe look up. Reach up through your arms. Half moon from here, lower your hands. Step your left hand forward into the left. Step into your left leg. Lift your right leg parallel to the floor. Stack your hips. Feel free to straighten your left leg or keep it bent. And lift your right arm toward the ceiling. Push through all four limbs. Lengthen through the top of your head. Press more through your standing big toe mount. Step way back, downward facing dog. Bring your feet together so they're in line with your hips. Well, yeah, just bring your feet together. Take your right knee behind your right wrist. Point your right toes toward your left hip and lower your left knee in line with your right heel. Then slide your left knee back. We're going to stay upright for this pigeon pose. Always feel free to place a block under the bent knee hip so you have something to push it into. Otherwise, stay working here. Press your tailbone forward. Lift your torso up. The taller you sit up, the more you need to push your hips forward to take it out of your low back. Keep moving your shoulders back, stay here, or walk your hands out beside your hips. Press your tailbone forward, squeeze your knees in, and maybe shoulders back, and curl back a little bit with your hands still on the floor. You can totally hang out here, or if you feel comfortable doing so, keep squeezing your knees down and toward each other, and maybe lift your arms, no hands, pigeon. This is a great preparatory posture for Ekapada Rajakapotasana, which we're not doing today. Lower your hands to the floor and step back, down dog. Step your left knee behind your left wrist. Line up your left heel and your right knee. Slide your right knee back. Squeeze your knees down and toward each other from front to back and side to side. Then press your tailbone forward, hips forward to sit up tall. Keep squeezing your legs in. Feel free to stay working here or walk your hands back outside your hips. Move your shoulders back, broaden across your collarbones. Keep moving your shoulders back. Stay working here or push your knees down and toward each other. Maybe lift your arms, no hands. You can even look up just like we've been doing already with the head gaze toward the ceiling. Downward dog. Knees to the floor, then take your torso all the way down, lying down on the ground on your belly. Take your arms alongside your torso, close your fingers, point your palms up. Push the tops of your hands and feet down into the floor to lift your kneecaps and your shoulders away from the floor. Push your hips forward and down into the floor as you lift your torso up. Lift your chest like someone's pulling your chest toward the front of your mat and toward the ceiling. Squeeze your arm bones toward your torso to engage the sides of your body. Stay here, lift your legs and your arms at the same time. Squeeze your legs in, arms in, then push your legs higher with your thighs and your arms higher with your upper arms. Lift your chin, push your head back like you were earlier, but now you have gravity working against you to lift your chin away from the floor, maybe gaze between your two eyebrows. And rest. Take one side of your face on the floor or on your hands. Okay, next we have Shalabhasana, hands bound variation. Take your hands behind you, interlace your fingers, move your shoulder blades onto your back, then straighten your arms. You can either do this with bent knees or straight legs, your choice. Push your hips down, move your shoulders back, then lift your torso off the floor while you push your tailbone and hips into the ground. Lift your knuckles away from your hips, squeeze your legs in, and maybe lift your thighs off the floor. Breathe here. Then lift your chest, Curl into your upper back, pull your throat back, and lift your chin. Don't hold your breath. And rest. Other side of your face down or forehead on the hands. Downward facing dog. Bring your ankles together, just lining up your feet. Step your right foot between your hands. Lower your left knee to the floor slightly behind your left hip, so your thigh is at an angle backwards. Then press your tailbone forward just like you've done already, hands to hips. Move right hip back, left hip forward, and lift your torso up. For this Anjaneyasana, take hands behind your head like we've done already before. Pull your elbows toward your face, shrug your shoulders back, shoulder blades toward each other. Now you'll notice you might be over bending in your middle back, so in order to correct that, push your tailbone forward, ribs back, and then move your torso back, then lift your chest and curl into your upper back. Stay here, or extend your arms straight up and gaze between your fingers. Great. Move right rib cage back, left rib cage forward to square your torso forward. Lower your hands to the floor. Turn your right toes in slightly so it points to the left corner of your mat. Then turn your left shin toward the wall behind you. And then just slide your left shin to the left. So your knee and your hip are straight up and down. And you're coming into gatekeeper prep from this position. Yeah. So make sure your sole of your right foot is down, so you might have to turn your toes in to get it down. Then place your right hand on your right thigh. Turn your torso to the left, and extend your left arm up, palm pointing toward your right foot. Push down through your left thigh, left knee, and lean your torso to the right, but keep turning your torso toward the ceiling at the same time. Maybe slide your hand a little bit lower. Push more through your standing knee, so your left knee, push it down into the floor to create more length in your left side. Good, inhale, come back up. Turn back to your right leg, lift your right toes off the floor, and fold. You're gonna point your left shin straight back like it was before, this time folding over your right leg for half leaping monkey. Feel free to walk your arms forward, or Ardha Hanumanasana. Maybe take your forehead toward your knee. Nice little breather pose. Coming up, we'll have a marathon of back bends, and then we'll have a marathon of forward folds and twists, and then we'll go to sleep. Walk your hands back. Bend your right knee and stamp your right foot flat on the floor. You might need to slide your back knee in a few inches. Take your left hand forward until the left fingers point out, and turn your right toes out for twisted monkey lunge. Push your foot and knee down and toward each other, and twist your torso to the right. Lift your right arm toward the ceiling. Stay here or bend your back knee, reach back with your right hand and grab the outer edge of your foot. Pull your heel and outer hip toward each other as you twist to the right and lift your chest up, curl back, throw your head back, lift your chin. Keep pushing foot and knee down and toward each other. Push your left hand down and away from you to pull your left shoulder back. Lower your foot. Downward facing dog. Bring your ankles together. Step your left foot forward between your hands. Lower your back knee to the floor at an angle backwards slightly, right knee behind hip. Place hands on hips. Square your hips by moving left hip back, right hip forward, then lift your torso up. Again, as you lift your torso up, press your hips forward. Move your ribs back. Try not to back bend as much as you can to sit up tall or to stand up tall. Then place your hands behind your head and release your fingers. Go for non-dominant clasp. Pull your elbows toward your face. Move your arm bones back, shrug your shoulders back, lift your chest. Push your head back, throat back, lift your chin, and look up. Again, you may stay here, pushing foot and knee down and toward each other. Maybe straighten your arms, gaze between your palms, or gaze at your thumbs. Anjaneyasana. Lower your hands inside your left leg. Turn your left toes slightly to the right. Then turn your right shin back toward the wall behind you. You can slide yourself a little bit more to the right so you have more room. Then stand up. Great, I'm gonna turn around so I can see you. Now from here, take your left hand to your left thigh, reach your right arm up, lean your hips to the right, twist to the right, and lean your torso to the left. Slide your left hand down your shin to whatever point is best for you. Keep your abdomen toned, rib cage moving back. Push stronger through your right knee. Inhale, come back up. Turn toward your left leg again. Right shin pointing straight back. Lift your left toes off the floor, lengthen your spine, and fold heart first, head last, forehead toward your knee. Take a moment here, connect to your breath. Next inhale, lengthen your spine. Walk your hands back. Stamp your left foot flat on the floor. Then take your right knee, you might need to slide it in. Right hand forward into the right, fingers point out. Turn your left toes out, left hand to thigh. Twist to the left, squeeze knee and foot down and toward each other. Maybe lift your left arm up, maybe reach back, grab your foot, pull heel and outer hip toward each other. Keep the twist, push right hand down and forward, right shoulder back, lift your chest, curl back, throat back, head back. Hold. Lower your foot, come out, down dog. Step to the middle of your mat. Bring your feet together, then swivel on your feet so you're facing one of the long edges of your mat. Then place your palms flat on the floor. You can bend your knees to do this. Make sure your hands are shoulder distance and your arms are straight. Now push down through your hands. Keep pushing down through your hands and then hop your feet wide for Prasarita Padottanasana. Go to your usual wide stance. If you don't know, again, you can do wrists level with ankles type of a scenario. Then lean forward. Turn your toes in just a little bit so your heels are a little wider than your pinky toes. Then walk your hands back between your feet. Now, shrug your shoulders back toward the ceiling so your heart melts toward the floor, all while keeping your arms straight. You'll feel that in your upper back. Maybe walk your hands back a little bit more. Keep that. Shrug your shoulders back, shoulder blades toward each other. Keeping your chin out of your chest, bend your elbows and push the floor away from you toward the direction that your toes are pointing, and then push your feet down and toward the opposite direction, the wall behind your heels. Then fold here. Bring more weight forward into your big toe mounds. Extend length through the top of your head. Keep moving your shoulder blades toward each other and away from the floor to grow your neck longer. Next, inhale, lengthen your spine. Place hands on your hips, move your shoulders back, and slowly stand up. Awesome. Realign your feet if you need to. Measure wrists, ankles, width apart. Then turn your right toes straight out to the right. If you need a block for triangle pose, now's a good time to get it in your right hand. Lean your hips to the left, torso to the right. Then take your right hand to your shin, ankle, or the floor outside your right leg. Push down into the floor with your feet and squeeze your legs toward each other. Stack your left hip on top of your right hip as best as you can. Then press your hips forward. Move your shoulders back and broaden across your collarbones here, trying to create a flatness across your collarbones rather than concave with your shoulders forward. Now from here, lift your chin, maybe gaze up beyond your left thumb. Look down at the floor. Turn toward the floor, place your left hand inside your right foot, then hop your back foot in one step. Turn your left toe sharply forward and to the left. Keep your spine long, flat back. Place your left hand on a block inside or outside your foot or to the floor. Then place your right hand on your right hip or your sacrum. Push your right hip back, left hip forward like we've done several times already. Now turn your torso, twist to the right, and try to get your chest up on the collarbone area. Try to make that as flat as possible rather than letting your shoulders drop forward, and reach your right arm up. It's great training for shoulders back for back bends, even though it's not a back bend itself. Lower your right hand to the floor, hands surrounding your foot. Bend your right knee a little bit to stand up. Then turn your right toes in, realign your feet, ankles to wrists. Then turn your right toes in, left toes out. If you need a block, left hand. Lean your right hip to the right, torso to the left. Then place your left hand under your shoulder to a block or the floor. Stack your hips, press your hips slightly forward, and bring your torso back in line with your left leg. Keep that. Lift your chest, move your shoulders back. Try to make it as flat as possible across your collarbones, and maybe gaze up toward your thumb. From triangle to Parivrtta Trikonasana, revolve triangle, right hand to the floor. Step your right foot in a step. Turn your right toe sharply forward and to the right. Take right hand either inside or outside your left foot to floor or a block. Move your left hip back, right hip forward. Place left hand on hip or sacrum and twist torso to the left. Try to line up your head with your left foot. Lengthen your spine. Move your shoulders back. Broaden across your collarbones and maybe lift your left arm. The other cool thing about this posture and other twists are a really helpful way to warm up the spine for back bends. Lower your hand to the floor. Bend your knee slightly to stand up. Turn your left toes in. Bring your fingertips in front of your chest. Bend your knees, step or jump, feet together, arms by your side. Awesome. Step to the back of your mat or wherever on your mat that when you come into this position, you won't kick a wall or run into one, or as best as you can do. Now, from here, bring your feet together and I'm going to step back a little bit. Step your left foot forward a step. You can either have your arms by your side, palms pointing back, or you can go for traditional variation warrior 3, arms overhead. Lean from your right foot to your left foot. Push down strongly into your left leg, all the way to your left big toe. Keep your torso and your leg in one straight line. You may go forward to whatever point you still stay in that straight line, even if it's only part way. Maybe go all the way to parallel to the floor. Feel free to bend your standing knee for more support, or if you straighten your left leg, make sure you tone your thigh, lift your kneecap, and then tone your outer left glute. Stand up, arms by your side, step back. All right, second side, step your right foot forward, one step, either arms by side or arms overhead variation. Square your hips forward, right hip back, left hip forward. Lean from left foot to right foot, lower halfway and lift your leg halfway or go anywhere along the way as long as you stay in that one straight line. Rotate your outer left hip down, inner thigh up. Again, bend your right knee if you need to, or tone your thigh, lift your kneecap. Do tone your outer right glute. Stand up, arms by your side. Mountain. All right, so, all right, we're gonna do that. Bring your fingertips in front of your chest at the middle of your mat facing the long edge. Step or jump, feet wide, arms wide. Turn your right toes out, just like we've done already, and bend your right knee directly above your ankle. Virabhadrasana 2. Widen your right knee to the right, extend your arms longer, and lift up through your sternum. Again, broaden across your collarbones, be as straight, be as flat on your collarbones as possible. Keep that, point your right palm up, reverse warrior, lean back, left hand to thigh, reach your right arm up and go into a sideways bend. Keep your right knee bending, right knee directly above your ankle. Yeah. Straighten your leg, stand up, turn right toes in, left toes out, Virabhadrasana 2, bend your left knee, widen left knee to the left, arms straight, broaden across your collarbones, push more through your back leg. Reverse warrior, point your left palm up, reach back, left arm up, right hand to right leg, be as sideways as possible, left knee is bent as possible, directly above your ankle. Come back up. Turn your left toes in, fingertips in front of your chest, bend your knees, step or jump, feet together, arms by your side. All right, now lie down on your back. We're about to get into the back bend territory. And this one's like a soft start, bridge pose, C2 Bandhasana. Take your elbows outside your rib cage, and one at a time, walk your shoulders underneath you toward your spine. Keep your spine lifting off the floor, press head, shoulders, and feet down, lift your hips up. Press more through your inner feet, lift more through your outer hips. Maybe hold the outer edges of your mat and walk your shoulders in a little bit more. Keep pressing down through head, shoulders, feet, and breathe here. Tone your abdomen. Keep your chin out of your chest. Keep lifting your chest up. Press back through your arms, down through your feet. Cycle through all of that alignment over and over again. Release your hands, lower your hips, rest your knees together, feet wide, hands wherever comfortable. This next one I really like. It's a quad stretch, so you might want to watch first. It's just like you're going to go into bridge pose to start. So you lift your hips, then grab onto the outer edges of your mat, and then like crawl your hands down towards your feet on your mat until your heels lift up, and then go even further until you feel like you're at a good spot for a quad stretch, and also the soles of your feet are stretching here. And then walk your shoulders under your spine again and hold. Push down through your arms, extend out through your knees, and breathe. Yeah. If you can go ahead and try it if you haven't gotten into it yet. Yeah, good. Very, very good. Whenever you're ready, come out. We're gonna rest for a couple of breaths. Crawl backwards to come out, and rest your knees together, feet wide. Awesome. Okay, roll to one side, sit up. Dolphin pose. This is gonna help strengthen your shoulders, your upper back, and your chest. So dolphin pose, you can use your block or not. If you're gonna use your block, you can use it either thumbs outside or thumbs behind your block. You do thumbs behind the block if you have a narrower stature, if you're a smaller person, and if you have broader shoulders like me, you'll want to take your thumbs outside the block. So if you're doing that, do that. You can also do hands bound, elbows under shoulders, and hook the bottom pinky inside the palms. So choose whichever one you're going to do. Place your elbows under your shoulders, push down through your wrists and your elbows, then squeeze your shoulder blades on your back. Like we did in Prasarda Padottanasana, wide-legged forward fold, push down through your arms, Then squeeze your shoulder blades on your back to melt your chest toward the floor. Then, keeping that, move your rib cage toward your spine and your tailbone toward your heels to tone your abdomen. Keep that, and then curl your toes under, lift your knees up. You might stay here, or keep your gaze toward the front or the top of your block or the top of your mat as you maybe walk your feet in a little bit. Go a little bit at a time. A little bit at a time is better than too much at once. Push down through your palms, push down through your elbows, lift your chin, and breathe. Walk your feet back out, lower your knees. You're going to come into a child's pose variation, knees together, arms by your legs, palms point up. Then rest your forehead to the floor. You can go forehead to a block. Here we go. Place your hands by your knees, move your shoulders back, and lift your torso up. Set your block to the side. Are you ready? All right, so here we go. Go onto your belly and bend your knees one at a time. And reach back for your outer feet. If you cannot grab your outer feet, feel free to grab a strap around your legs, or you can also just interlace your fingers behind your back and reach knuckles and heels toward each other. If you've got your feet, walk your knees in a little bit more, heels a little bit wider than your outer hips. Now from here, push tailbone into the floor, shoulders back, then kick your feet back to lift your torso up. Push your tailbone forward, move your shoulders back, kick your feet back again. This time, press your tailbone down into the floor, kick your feet back, then push your feet up, thighs off the floor, Dhanurasana. Hold here, pull your throat back, lift your chin, and maybe look toward the ceiling. Lower down. Whew. Rest. Ustrasana, camel pose. Come up to all fours, hands and knees. You can totally use a blanket or double up your mat, triple up your mat, so you have something to push your knees into that's not a hard floor. You want to make sure your outer knee lines up with your outer hip, and push down through your knees just like you did in Gatekeeper when you push down strongly through one knee. Do that with both legs. Place your hands on your hips with your thumbs in and your fingers around your outer hips. Then lean back a little bit, tilt your pelvis forward, tailbone forward, ribs back, then chest up. Squeeze your shoulder blades onto your back, elbows toward each other, then push down through your knees again, tailbone forward, chest up, shoulders back, curl back again. Now, if you know you cannot reach your heels very easily, you can curl your toes under so you can reach your heels better, or tops of feet on the floor, harder to reach. Stay here, or at the same time, reach back, hands to heels. Now push your hips forward. I'm getting a foot cramp. That sucks. Now push your hips forward, shoulders back, throat back, and look toward the wall behind you. When your yoga tells you you need to eat more bananas, lean forward, hips forward, chest up, head up last. Woo. Awesome. Downward facing dog. Whew. Take a breather. Pigeon prep, right knee behind your right wrist. Similar but different to the last one. Lower your back knee in line with your right heel, slide your left knee back. Press your tailbone forward. Place your right hand in front of your right shin and go for the quad stretch. Reach your left arm back, grab your inner foot with your left hand. Pull your heel, actually first kick your foot back into your hand so you get a nice little shoulder stretch here, and then try to square your torso forward using that. Then bend your left knee, pull your heel toward your outer hip. Feel free to turn your fingers over your toes. Keep pressing left outer hip down. move right hip back. Stay here or place your right hand up on your right thigh, again pressing your tailbone forward the higher up you go. Stay here or mermaid the pose. Take your left elbow around your foot, then point your left palm, fingers up. Reach your right arm up, kick back into your left arm to help keep you lifted. Maybe place right hand behind your head or grab your fingers beside your left ear. And again, try to square your hips and torso toward the front of your mat, even though your body will want to go sideways. Yay! Down dog. Whew. Step your left knee behind your left wrist. Lower your right knee, set it up, slide it back. Press your tailbone forward, left hand in front of your shin. Bend your back knee, reach back for your inner right foot. Push your foot into your hand first, move your right shoulder back, and try to square your hips and torso forward. Then pull your heel toward your outer hip. Turn your fingers over your toes, move left hip back, right hip forward. Stay here, a couple more breaths. Maybe lift your left hand to your left thigh. Again, press tailbone forward, left hip back, left ribs back. Stay here or hook your elbow around your right foot. Fingers point up, push your leg into your arm so you stay lifting, then lift your left arm. Bend your left elbow, hand behind head, or grab your fingers if you can reach. Turn left ribs back, left hip back. Lower down, down dog. Hopefully this doesn't keep you up all night. Back bends are like coffee. Step or jump to the front of your mat. Bring your feet about as wide as your mat. Bend your knees a lot, even if you normally can straighten your legs in a forward fold. This is because we're doing lots of back bends. You don't want to overstretch your spine forward after a bunch of back bends. We're not quite done yet. We have one more. It's not super bad. Lengthen your spine, place hands on hips, shoulders back, and stand up. Baby dancer. And then after that, we have two-armed baby dancer. So the first one, I'm going to get closer to the camera so you can see me better. You're going to take your right foot with your right hand and then line up your knees with each other. And then take your left arm straight out in front of you. Squeeze your legs in, then pull your shoulders back. Now, like we've been doing a lot already, pull your left hip back, right hip forward, and then kick your foot back without leaning forward yet. Kick your foot back and up, and move left hip back, right hip forward, squaring up. Stay here or kick back, lean forward, and then fold maybe halfway like Virabhadrasana 3. Then kick your foot up, just like you did in your belly down back bend. Push your foot away from the floor toward the ceiling. Hold. Yeah, good, and come on out. Great, awesome. Second side. Root down into your feet, then bend your left knee, reach back for your foot, pull your heel toward your hip and your left knee and right knee in the same line, squeeze them in. Take your right arm out in front of you, palm pointing down. Pull your shoulders back, lift your chest. This is hips and torso squared variation. Kick your foot back without folding forward yet. Use your thigh to push your foot up. Move right hip back, left hip forward, right ribs back, left ribs forward. Kick back and kick up and maybe fold halfway, keeping as square to the front as possible. Push into your foot as much as you reach into your arms, and it's very hard to do without falling over. Woo! Ah! You guys are so funny. All right, you're doing a jig, Colleen. All right, so the next one is similar. It's actually easier to stay square in this one. If you don't have the ability to grab both hands around your foot, you can also just do the one hand again. Or you can use a strap around your foot too and do it that way. So You're basically going to grab your foot with right hand of foot and then grab the other side of the foot with the other hand. If you can interlace your fingers, even better, better grip, stronger grip. So once you've got that good, push down through your standing leg. Don't fold forward yet, just kick your foot back. Point your right kneecap down, right, straight down toward the floor. Push your foot back and then up. Now maybe hinge forward, kick your foot up and back. Stay balanced, push down through your standing leg, hold, stand up. So fun. The first time I discovered that one, I was so excited. All right, next one, bend your left knee, grab your foot. Try to take your right hand behind you and grab the other side of your foot. If you can, interlace your fingers. Point your kneecap straight down, move your shoulders back, and square your hips and torso forward. Push through your standing leg, kick your left foot straight back, keep your torso up, kick your foot up. Then maybe lean forward, kick foot up, throat back, chest forward, arms up. Breathe, don't hold your breath. See how long you can hold it. Squeeze your leg in. Come out. Awesome. It's a fun one. I always get super giddy in back bend classes, whether I'm taking them or teaching them, because they like open the heart. Super fun. Cool. Malasana, goddess variation. So wide-legged garland. Take your feet a little wider than your hips. Point your toes either straight ahead or slightly out, but still work them towards straight ahead, keeping that engagement to the inner thigh. Bend your knees. Take your elbows between your thighs and then crawl yourself down. Clamp your heels towards your hips. Now start with your arms out in front of you, lengthen your spine a little bit, and hold here for a couple of breaths. And then if you feel comfortable going deeper, you can dig yourself in a little bit more, elbows a little bit further down. Be very mindful of your back. If your back doesn't like this after back bends, listen to it. Place your palms in front of your heart. Press your tailbone down, sitting bones face the floor, then lengthen your spine out of your hips. Move your shoulders back and breathe. Nice grounding posture after all those airy back bends. I wish you guys could hear my dog. She's like, she does that just to make sure she knows I'm there, or she's there still. Stand up. All right. Let's go to seated. And take your legs straight out in front of you, Dandasana. And from here, we're going to go into Marichasana variation. Pull your left heel toward your left hip, plant your foot flat on the floor, and take your left hand back behind you. So for some people, like I was mentioning, twists and forward folds do or don't help after back bends for people. It just depends on the person. If you're one that it doesn't feel that great, you can modify the twist by taking your right elbow around your left knee instead of outside your knee for the deeper one. So whichever one you're choosing, I'm going for the first one. If you've got your knee with your elbow, you can hook your fingers, move your shoulders back, lift up through your spine, then gaze toward the wall behind you. If you don't, if you have your hand to the floor and your elbow outside your knee, do what you usually do. Push down through your sitting bones, lengthen through the top of your head, gaze to the left. Keep your right toes and kneecap pointing straight up and hold. Turn your gaze forward, untwist, extend your left leg straight ahead. Pull your right heel towards your hip. Plant your foot down. Take your right hand back behind you to start. Either take your left elbow in front of your knee or outside your knee. You choose. If you've got elbow around your knee, grab onto your fingers, interlace them. Broaden across your collarbones, whichever variation you're in. Twist to the right. Gaze beyond your right shoulder. Keep your left toes and kneecap pointing straight up. Hi, Derby. Untwist. Extend your right leg forward. She thought I didn't hear her. Okay. Take your leg straight out in front of you. And then take your left knee to the left. Janu Shirshasana. Rotate your inner thighs down, outer hips up, both legs. And then turn toward your right leg. Take your hands to surround your right leg and maybe forward fold. Go to whatever depth is comfortable for you today. Again, keeping in mind that you just did a bunch of back bends and you may not be able to go as far as you usually do. You can grab the inner edge of your foot with your left hand, maybe the outer edge of the foot with your right hand, maybe forehead to knee. Next inhale, lengthen your spine. Extend your left leg forward. Take your right knee to the right. Second side. Rotate your inner thighs down, outer hips up, both legs. Again, turn toward your left leg, then fold to whatever degree is best for you. Feel free to grab the inner and outer edge of your leg or your foot with your hands, maybe forehead to knee. And slow, steady breaths. Next inhale, lengthen your spine. Slowly sit back up. Then extend your legs straight out in front of you. We're going to go for Paschimottanasana, again to whatever degree is necessary. You may choose to bend your knees today, ribs to thighs. Grab onto your outer shins, ankles, or feet. Lengthen your spine, push feet into hands, hands into feet. Maybe take your forehead to your knees. Feel free to extend your legs straight if you can keep your rib cage and your thighs connected. And once you feel ready, maybe fold all the way down, face to shins, elbows resting in toward your legs, and breathe. Next inhale, slowly lengthen your spine. Sit back up. Take a comfortable seated position. Resting, you can either sit up on a blanket or a block, or something that lifts your pelvis up if you need to. We're going to do short breathing exercise before we take Shavasana. I personally like to make sure I do a pranayama after a back bend class because it helps to settle the nervous system back down if it's gone haywire. So we're going to do Nadi Shodhana Pranayama. Curl your right hand, first two fingers toward the center of your palm. Then take your ring finger to your left nostril and your thumb to your right nostril. Take an inhale through both nostrils. Exhale through both nostrils. Plug the left, inhale right. Plug right, exhale left. Inhale left. Plug left, exhale right. Inhale right. Plug right, exhale left. Inhale left. Plug left, exhale right. Continue for a few more cycles on your own. After your next exhale through your right nostril, release the hand position. Lower your hand to the floor, come back, or lower your hand to your thigh and come back to your natural breath. Take a few rounds of regular breathing or ujjayi breath. You can either stay upright in seated meditation or feel free to come down for Shavasana, maybe resting in Viparita Karani, whatever feels appropriate for you. We'll be here for about 5 minutes. Begin to deepen and lengthen your breath. Bring subtle movements back into your body. If you're lying down, slowly pull your knees toward your chest and roll to one side. Using your arms, press yourself back to a comfortable seat. I like to set an intention every year, but even on my birthday or on significant times like the solstice, to, from this point forward, do my best in leading with an open mind and an open heart. We'll finish with one Om. Feel free to join your palms in front of your heart. Lift the brightness of your heart into your hands. Take a full breath in. Exhale completely. Inhale again. In honor of each other, yourself, and this practice, Namaste.